All right, let's get it started. Looks like I was right again, man. This is awesome. I finally did it. I got back to break even, although I lost a little bit, but I made 100% today. Well, all in all, after some losses, it's more like 75%. But man, that big trade really worked out. This is the kind of benefits of trading the indexes and gold and stuff like that, because even if you take a small sort of position, your profits will still run, right? And indexes, they tend to run, so you want to catch those big moves. And I'm really happy that I got through this. I traded this on 2 accounts. My second account is actually still holding on to this, so it's like that account made almost 120%, and it's still going. I'm pretty sure it's going to drop, but like I said before, that account is a algo account, so I'm planning to essentially hold certain trades until the overall trend is sort of realized there. And really, the overall trend for Nasdaq, yeah, you've been having this huge uptrend, right? So like going back to the daily. And sorry guys, excuse me for my voice. I got bronchitis last week and it's just the remnants of it still fucking kicking my ass, so whatever. But anyway, so I drew these 2 little boxes in that video that I made 2 weekends ago, whatever it was. And I said, you know, if it's going to bounce here, I'll at least play it for a bounce and we'll kind of see what happens here. If it comes down here, I'm a buyer 100%. It just depends on what the scenario is when it comes down here. If it goes straight down, then might be in trouble. But if it bounces here, comes down a little bit, fucks around, and then continues to go down, that's pretty healthy in my books, and I'll be a buyer. But regardless, right now where it's at, man, I got some wicked entries today. So, okay, so last night, basically, it was sitting around here. I mentioned this in my yesterday's video, but I got stopped out when this thing came back down. But once it came up here, I was looking for a retest, and I got it right here at the bottom of this little scoop action that's going up right now. So this was my trade. I put one trade over here, but if you go down to the 15-minute time frame, smaller time frame, right? Once it came up here, it started to do this and came down over here. I bought it at this wick. So I try to trade as much as the wicks as possible. So if you look at it right here, I got the entry right over here. It's almost like a perfect entry. Started to go up. When it retested here, I got a little scared, to be honest, but I bought again. I put a 0.02 buy limit, so all in all I had 0.02, 0.02, and a 0.01 altogether. So there was like 3 stacked over here. So there was one position here, 0.02, 0.01, and 0.02, and I basically cashed out right over here, more around, I think it was like 3 p.m. EST, and I got out of it. Before this trade, my balance was sitting around 170 or 180 or something like that, and it took me up to 410, so a little over 100% I made just on this trade, so that's pretty awesome. Now, my other account is still holding it, like I said, so that thing is basically way back up, past break even. When it comes back down to this area, I'm going to start buying the dip again and just hold it and ride it out. The overall trade here for me on NASDAQ is, again, if you go to the daily, right, this is a big uptrend, right? So it's really trending at this point. It's been trending for a while now, almost for a whole year. It's been going like this. So when you get these kind of dips, although it looks like pretty crazy, it's been going like this for a few weeks, just going down, and it's a pretty sharp decline. But it could just be an exhaustion phase. So you won't really know anything until it comes to this area right here, and then we'll see what happens. If it starts chopping, then I'm going to wait to see the direction. If it goes down, I'll wait for a retest and sell. If it goes up, same thing. I'll wait for a retest and buy. So that's where really my head is right now. That was pretty awesome. I did lose some money on EURAUD, I think it is. So let me show you what I did there. It wasn't, I mean, I don't know. It kind of made sense, but it just didn't play out maybe. If you go down to the 1 hour, for example, you had this big candle that came up like this. So I wanted to play off the base over here, and I had maybe 5 or 6 positions like this. I lost about 6 to 7%, which is what kind of brought me back down. That plus I think I had a bad gold trade too, something like over here. I entered just a willy-nilly position and it started to go down on me, so I exited that. The second trade I did really well on actually was EURUSD. This position I was actually holding on to from this kind of pattern that I was showing before in the previous video. But if you look at it, right, same play, guys. I mean, these things, they do a lot of these kind of pattern situation. But if EURUSD tends to range, go in this direction, retest, and then really climb. So I'm just tracking that, right? Like for example, ranges here, goes down, ranges, goes up, retests, and now it's starting to climb. So I'm gonna look for entries again when it comes down a little bit. I have a little like kind of baby position over here just because there's some news events that's happening tomorrow. Super small position, but it's not exactly going to affect me. It is what it is. It's like 1% loss if it hits a stop loss. If not, then I'll at least go up here and whatever, right? My foot's in the door. So that position is in, but this trade right here, like look at this entry, man. Oh my god, like I've been getting some really good entries, so I'm just trying to like expand my trading journey and stuff. Look at this, came up here, tested. Actually, this was more like this, but regardless, like man, that's a really good entry, right? Like it came up here, tested this one area here, and I just want you to see this, right? And the play here was that you would get this kind of almost like a double bottom, more within the bottom of this sort of triangle, symmetrical triangle thing that's happening. And as I said in the previous video, symmetrical triangles, it could go either way, right? Up or down, whatever the case is. And the general local trend here is going down. So I was fully expecting to lose money on this, but it decided to break up. I entered another position here, came up again, and when it retested again, I entered another position, and then I entered one or two more positions up here, which kind of gave me all my trades for today, and I capped off right over here. So it was a 1 to 1.75, but really it was more like a 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, just because I started to add to my winning positions. And that's kind of what helped me get pretty much almost up to break even. I'd say I'm about 20% from break even right now. So that gives me some hope. But again, on my algo account, it's way over break even. I'm actually in about 20% profit. So that's how these things are, man. Like Forex tends to do its thing, but you know, when you trade indexes, when you trade gold and stuff like that, it runs on you. And if you can hold on for the run, you're going to make a lot of money. Many times around the 3 o'clock mark, you know, Nasdaq tends to either reverse the previous trend or whatever it was, and then take some of the gains back. So I thought, you know what, let me just cap it off. I made some good money. I'll get out of this and call it a day. And that's what I did. And then on the algo account, because I'm really trying to focus on just, you know, a strategy, I stuck to it, and that thing's printing money right now. So can't complain. But so far so good. It looks to be pretty good. Now for the Nasdaq itself, just to go back and kind of review what might happen here, I really think so. On 1 hour, it's not really too clear. I feel like you're going to start getting some bounces up in this area, although it is kind of kissing the 200-day moving average, the simple moving average over here, at least on the 1 hour time frame. But once it comes up here to this zone, I think it's going to start rejecting and going back down just a little bit. But I really think this is a kind of like a retracement period that's happening right now, that's been going on from February to sort of end of Marchish. Because you know, if you look at the daily, this is a huge trend, right? Like look at this, man. It's been climbing for a while. Plus, if it comes back down here for any reason, it's going to be a very strong bounce, because look at the amount of congestion that was happening here. This is back in like 2021. This is back in like 22. This is back in like 2021, and then even here when it sort of like, you know, came down, flagged, and then broke right through. It broke right through it. It's like it wasn't even there almost, right? So if it comes back and tests this, it'll definitely range a bit, but I feel like it's going to go back up. Now, it is bouncing over here. I don't know really what's going to happen, guys. I mean, this area here that I marked out is kind of an area of interest for me. I do have a, you know, TP up here, but that's if it comes back down. I would trade that up here and call it a day. But you know, if it starts coming up here, honestly, I'm going to get into sells just because it is such a strong move down. At least you'll get a bounce. Maybe you'll scalp a few sells. Maybe my position size will be a bit higher to earn a little bit more on that short trade. But the idea is that I personally feel that this is actually, in the other video I made before, I told you why it made sense, right? Like, for example, it touches all these wicks before it goes up. So, like, for example, this thing, you know, kind of gathered over here, consolidated. You had a breakout, but then when it came back, it almost touched this wick over here, right? It always touches these wicks, and that's kind of where I trade. But here's what happened here. When it crossed this little zone, it did retest and go up, but it didn't retest really anywhere significant, which is why, if you notice, when it retested over here, when this whole downtrend happened in the past, whatever, 6 weeks, look where this stopped. Right there. Like, I mean, I can't even make this shit up, man. Look at this shit. I can't even make this up. Look at this. Look at this. Look where it stopped. Right on this wick. Right on this wick. Personally, I thought it was going to stop over here, somewhere on these wicks, right? But, you know, I still had the positions open right over here. So I kind of made out okay, but you know what I usually do is I enter a small position just to get a foot in the door and see how it goes, and then either add to it or close the position from there. So that's the game plan. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Until next time, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.
Motherfuck the big three, nigga. It's just big me, nigga. Boom. What? I'm really like that, and your best work is a light pack.